Hello, and welcome to When They Popped. I'm Mary. Kelsey will be joining us shortly, and today we are so excited to welcome an actress who brought one of the most iconic characters of the late 2000s to life. From her breakthrough role as the manipulative Eden Lord on Nip Tuck to her unforgettable portrayal of Naomi Clark on 90210, she gave us some of the best mean girl moments in television history. But she did it with depth, vulnerability, and complexity that made us root for her every step of the way. Beyond her acting career, and even more impressive, she's become a powerful advocate for mental health awareness and trauma recovery, selflessly using her platform to help others. AnnaLynne McCord, welcome to When They Popped.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Before we dive in, I just want to say how much we admire your openness and sharing your story and your journey, and we're just so grateful you're willing to be here with us to share it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Actors, we were like, stop. No, keep talking.
You deserve it.
All the compliments. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm grateful for when I popped. I almost didn't pop. I was trying to say no to 90210 in the beginning of my career, and I would have not popped, so I wouldn't be here with you if that had happened.
Oh, girl, you popped, and thank God you did. So, as I mentioned, we like to do a little icebreaker here with our guests, and I wanted to start today's episode with a game of Y2K this or that Naomi Clark style. So, I'm going to give you two Y2K era TV it girlies, and you tell us who you think Naomi would have bonded with and why. First pairing, Blair Waldorf or Serena van der Woodsen?
Serena. Oh, definitely no. It would be Blair.
Blair.
Would like Serena's clothing, her attire. Blair wasn't bad at the attire either, but Serena would be her vibe and Blair's attitude all the way.
I could not agree more. Okay, how about One Tree Hill? Brooke Davis or Peyton Sawyer?
Oh, Brooke Davis.
Soul sisters, maybe.
Soul sisters. Yes, much more going on there.
What about OC girlies? Summer Roberts or Marissa Cooper?
Well, that one's tricky for AnnaLynne because before AnnaLynne was Naomi, she was snubbed by Marissa.
So Summer.
Summer all the way. She'll probably be vibing with the boys a little bit more on the OC, actually.
Oh, yeah. There were some good boys on the OC.
There's some good boys on the OC.
Okay, so the juices are flowing. We're warmed up. I'd love to just dive in and start with your story from the beginning. I've listened to some of your interviews. I've been doing my research. You've been very open about your upbringing and your background. Could you share a bit about your early life and your decision to leave home at, 15 to pursue modeling?
Yes, well, I will do it in a keep it enjoyable and light way because it gets a little dark, y'all. I always say I wouldn't be an actress if it was all peaches and roses when I was a kid. But I did. I grew up in a trailer park. I grew up in American poverty. Thankfully, to people who are in tax brackets like mine, I was able to have food on the table when I was a kid. So I am grateful for everyone who paid a little more taxes so I could eat. There were periods where it was food stamps. It was the only experience I knew. It was very sheltered because I was homeschooled from K through 12, which is why I was able to leave home at 15. I actually graduated at 15 and on my graduation day wearing my father's college cap and gown. In my graduation photos in front of the trailer.
Did those exist? Does she still have those?
I will try to dig those up. They're pretty great. I'm like wearing just giant black collegiate graduation cap and gown in front of a tree, in front of our trailer. And that afternoon, my uncle Bill drove me all the way to Miami, where I got to start with Wilhelmina, Miami, and quickly went on to New York at 15. So it was necessary. What I didn't know about the world is that children aren't supposed to be abused. So I was like, oh, okay, that's not a normal thing. It was normal for me. And so I normalized it. Unfortunately, I normalized it so much that I then continued that treatment of myself for a long time, which is where my mental health moments later on really started to take me down and out. And so I would go on to become an advocate for that issue as a result. But at that time, it was normal to me. And when things are normalized as humans, we're really resilient to it. For some reason, we just kind of this is what we know, So I was in this space of acceptance and I just had an American dream. I wanted to be an actress, and I believed that if you were an American, I grew up in Georgia. I was like, if you're an American, you can make any dream come true. I literally believed it. Like, this was my belief. So I think there was something charming, endearing, but also true to the fact that when you believe something so fully, so completely, and with so much fervor and love, like I did for the notion of being an actress, it actually materializes. I've become this manifestor. I came to find out that I'm a human design manifestor, if you know about human design, but I actually manifested this existence and everyone told me it was not possible. So I started studying in New York City. I was too young to get into the drama school that I wanted to go to. I was like, listen, I'll do anything. I'll work so hard. You'll never regret this decision. And then I leave a year early and my teacher's like, you're going to fail. You're never going to have longevity in your career. Everywhere I went, I was met with this opposition. And at that time, the little firecracker inside me definitely used that as fuel. And it propelled me onward towards this big giant pipe dream that was never supposed to happen for me to become an actress. And when I turned 18, I moved to Los Angeles. I moved here where I've been for 19 years. And I just did whatever I had to do. I got a bicycle from Goodwill and I was putting the bike on front of a bus and taking buses everywhere. And then one time the bus stopped short and the bike fell off and the bus driver ran over my bike. So then I had to turn sideways. The handlebar was all crooked. I'm driving, handlebar's crooked, driving straight back to my apartment on the bicycle. Now I've got to figure out a new way to get around because Los Angeles is a big town. Yeah. So I had a very colorful beginning. And I think that looking back, all of those little sprinkles, I've gotten to just flutter into the work that I've gone on to do. And that's why I don't believe in villains, even though I've played them for 2 decades. Everyone has difficulty coming up. And sometimes you get kind of tired of it and you don't want to be the one on the other side of the villainy. So you become the quote unquote villain. And as a result of playing villains, but also kind of being a lot of people's villain in their story, I have been, and I fully admit to that. I realized when I was doing what I was doing that was so villainous. Yeah. I thought I was just surviving. I thought I was just doing what I had to do to cope with what I believed was my reality. And the perception of reality is what is actually our reality. It's not what is actually really happening. It's what we believe is happening that is real for us. So that began to play into my roles. And I did go into a casting office for the 4th or 5th time. And the casting director was giving me yet again another set of sides. When I would read for one character, he'd send me in the lobby and I'd read for someone else. And I was like, Joseph, you obviously love me. You keep bringing me back. You keep having me here. But then you send me off and have me read for, the mean girl. And he said, because honey, you look like a bitch. Oh my God. But at that same time, I read about Sharon Stone, being told, just play into your bitchiness. She's got a tough edge to her. And when she did, she started getting all these amazing roles. And so I was like, well, if that's how I'm perceived, then that's the reality of the casting directors and directors looking at me. All right, I'm a bitch. Let's go.
A hot bitch.
Thanks, bitch.
So were you always you're navigating the industry at such a young age. You tell these stories how you talk to you're Joseph, calling out the casting director. Were you always this confident and not afraid to speak up and put yourself out there?
I had a major rule in my story, which was fake it till you make it, honey boo boo. And because I was homeschooled, I never understood the concept of peer pressure. I didn't even know what it was. So when I didn't like something, I just didn't like it. I didn't know that because someone else might like it, that I should like it. That was foreign to me. I will say that when people were in my inner circle, they could walk all over me. But the outer circle, I had this kind of invincibility. I was in a meeting with a really powerful producer who started swiping through my phone and looking at pictures. He was showing me his puppy dog. I was showing my cat. And then he inappropriately started going through my phone. And I tried to get my phone back. He wouldn't give it back. And I was going to rip it out of his hand because I had some topless pictures on there. I mean, I was 19, 20. Like, I was sending pictures to my man. So first of all, I shouldn't have to explain myself. You don't take someone's phone and start going through their photos. What's wrong with you? But so I ripped the phone out of his hand and I get up to leave in the middle of the meeting. He's like, wait. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, like, you don't fucking do that. You don't do that to someone. And I think that he thought because I was young and new to LA and this was a general meeting, so it was just a sit down of him to get to know me kind of thing. Like, he was thinking that he could just do whatever he wanted. And I, way before, this was something that was allowed, because what we were told as young actresses was, this guy's kind of creepy, so be careful, protect yourself. It was never like he shouldn't be creepy. It was like, you need to make sure that you don't get creeped on if you can avoid it. And it's like, so we would do all these things to like make sure we felt safe. And it was crazy. These archaic times 20 years ago. But I did have this devil may care attitude. I mentioned I'm a human design manifestor. There is a hallmark to that, which is that we don't give a fuck. Like, we think we know what's up, and we really, like, sometimes we have to eat some humble pie because it is not always true. But it served me really well as far as being in an industry that requires thick skin. And I have a lot of friends who wanted to do it, but were like, I don't know how you stay in it. Like, how do you handle the criticism and the mistreatment and the ridicule? And then when you get to a certain level, the scrutiny. And I was like, I don't fucking listen to it.
That has to be freeing to an extent.
Yes. I will say, I'm human, so I'm not immune in the sense that, like, no one wants negativity directed in their direction. I just tend to approach it from a very logical standpoint of like, wait, you spent all this time not liking me, to spend a lot of time making sure that people know that you don't like me because you don't like me so much that you spent all that time on me not liking me. Got it. Okay. Methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Could not agree more. So you were in there, you were not taking any shit, not giving any fucks. You were probably what, in your late teens by this time? I mean, you were 20 when you got Nip Tuck, right?
Yeah, I was 18, 19. And I came in my agency at 18 and I just signed. Like, who are you? I'm like, okay, I will do this. I won't do this. I'm interested in this. Like, I had everything. They were like, who is this girl? And who does she think she is?
I love it.
So yeah, I was like 18, 19, like really just sure of, in all the ways that I was not sure of myself as a person in the world and in relationship. I was so sure of myself and what I wanted for my career and what I wanted to do with my life and my vocation. So there was just this dichotomous aspect of me that I wouldn't unveil and really witness in myself until much later. But that was the underbelly of this confidence in my work, was that I was overcompensating for my lack of self-worth in my own personal life.
I bet a lot of us do that.
Yeah, it feels like, we're less than 3 degrees of separation, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So tell me about Eden Lord. How did you end up in the Nip Tuck world? Were you excited about the character? Like, talk to me about her a little.
Well, to know Eden Lord is to know a very naughty young woman. It was so funny because I read the script, the audition site scripts that they send, and I called my agent and I was like, is this how we're starting my career? And she was like, shut up and go to the audition. She must have thought I was just the most arrogant little teenager. She loved me though. She plucked me out of an audition when I was 15, when she used to be a casting director. And when I was 18, she was like, you're coming to LA. She's incredible and I love her. And to this day, she's just my biggest supporter and a bulldog. Oh, such a bulldog for me.
Love it.
Melissa. But she also knew how to handle my sometimes fake it till I make it confidence / arrogance. And she's like, just go to the audition. And I was like, if I go to this audition, I'm going to book this.
I love that.
Here's why. Because I'm a little cray, in case you haven't noticed.
You gotta be, though. You gotta be.
A little low, as they say now. But I was good at things that were extreme. And the audition required my character to pleasure herself. I knew that most of the actresses were going to go in there and make oohing and ahhing sounds. And I was going to go in there with a pair of boy shorts under my miniskirt. And I was going to spread my legs and just start massaging my thigh, which is exactly what I did.
Wow.
And I was just ruthless. It was just ridiculous. I think about it now and I'm like, so many levels of inappropriate. But they wrote the scripts. I did not.
Right.
My sweet, precious reader skipped a line and reread the line again because he was so like, what just happened? The casting director was blowing me kisses when I was leaving. It was hilarious. But it was one of those things that I, without really having a lot of wherewithal, I did have a little bit, and I knew my strengths. My strengths are that I am willing to go the distance, and I'll go where no one else will go. I'll go where no man has gone before. I will do the things that are uncomfortable, not fun. Like my old manager, I worked as a hostess for a little while at a restaurant out here, and it was one of those bars that's like got a mechanical bull and like they serve drinks that are like bigger than the size of your head. And people are throwing up in the bathroom. I would clean the bathroom, like puke off the bathroom on Fridays and Saturday nights. And no one else wanted to do it. And I'd be in there mopping this stuff. So he would always say, like, you know, we used to have an actress who worked here. And he would tell these stories about me. And then he'd say, it's AnnaLynne McCord of Nip. And the young, servers or a hostess were coming in like, what? He's like, she didn't complain. She was here till 5 a.m. every night checking out her register. She would clean puke off the floor. So I am someone, no matter what my vocation is, I have no ego. I will give it all I've got. And yet I do require a lot out of my superiors and my peers. And if you aren't, especially a superior, isn't up to par, I will go to bat with you and I ain't scared.
So would that happen like on sets?
It did happen. 90210, there was a moment where, and it's so funny now because Shanna and I laugh about it, but Shanna Stein was one of the producers on 90210, and she went on to be a producer on one of 50 Cent's Power iteration, a few of iterations.
Okay.
But she did Raising Kanan more recently, and she had me come on and do that. And I went to her and I was like, I need to apologize to you for being an outrageous brat. Like, you were in your 20s. I was like, no excuses. I was a see you next Tuesday, and I am sorry. But she said we all were in a wild world on that show. But there was a moment where I got cleared for a project, and then they wanted to bring me in early from my hiatus. And I was in the middle of filming, and I had 7 days left. I ended up winning many awards for this project. The film was called Excision, went to Sundance, and it was really important for my career because it was setting me apart from the 90210 stereotype and giving me an essence of gravitas in my work and in what was being showcased as far as what I was putting out there. And so it was really important to me. And they said, look, we technically cleared you, but we didn't put in writing. We need you to come in. And I, on principle, will do a lot of crazy shit to people. So if I think that I am morally justified, I will cause natural justice to rain down on a motherfucker.
Excellent.
Maybe it was growing up in Georgia. Maybe it's because I'm crazy. I don't know. You can determine. But I started pulling the lock myself in my trailer. I did all the actors. And then I told Shanna on set on 90210, she drove all the way down in traffic, poor thing. And she was like, I'm so sorry in front of everybody. And I came down, I was like, Shanna, I said, this whole thing, me locking myself in my trailer, it's all an act. It's not real. I was like, I am a professional. When have I never ever been less than professional? She's like, you always been professional. I was like, when have I ever been late? In 3 years. This was the 4th season of the show. She's like, you've never been late. I was like, I do everything you guys asked me to do. Do not lie to me. And that was really what it was. They have a thing where they don't tell the actors things because they think the actors will take liberties. And they do. It's true. But I wasn't one of those actors. I was one of the actors who came from cleaning puke off the floor in a bathroom. I was willing to do whatever it took. I felt underappreciated and I felt highly disrespected. And I'm a Cancer woman. You can do a lot of things to us. Oh my God, what's your birthday?
July 1st.
Oh my God, July 16th.
Oh my God, I'm the most sensitive little crab that there is.
Such a sensitive crab. And then the show.
Oh, there is a show.
I will punch you. But my punches came out because I was doing everything for everybody. That everything I was asked, and as a Cancerian, I was sensing what I needed to do and doing that too. And then I felt really disrespected that in a moment when it mattered to me and I was doing this project. So I really was a total little twat. And I think in playing it out, it totally makes sense. Me, who I am today, I would have sat down and I would have called a meeting with everyone and I would have said, I want to make something abundantly clear to all of you. I might be 20-something years old, but you do not get to treat me as less than a human being. You wouldn't do this to our 30s, 40s, 50s-year-old cast. You wouldn't do this to Jessica Walters. Don't do it to me. And Shenae, in her defense, wasn't a part of that aspect of it, but she did have to do cleanup on aisle 2, and I was the cleanup on aisle 2. So I was happy that I got to have a full circle moment with her with power, and apologize for not doing it in the way that I would have liked to have done it, but I did it to the level that I could at the time.
Well, and I totally understand why, especially hearing you're a Cancer and having that happen. I know exactly how I would have reacted too, especially in my 20s. So I totally get it. Is a show like 90210, it's obviously you get such great exposure, such a great stepping stone to other projects. Is it also kind of like, I don't want to say not a prison, but do you feel like you're kind of shoeholed into this persona, this character, like, oh, you're the girl from 90210. Like, you have to kind of shake that image once you have it?
I would have. And thankfully, because I stood up for myself and I completed that film, I created an entire other following demographic that I went on to have many films, actually, several of which have done really well at the festivals. I did 68 Kill that won all the audience awards at South by Southwest. We actually had to add another night because we started getting angry festival goers who were like, we didn't get a ticket, they were already sold out. Of course, my other persona, it's either mean girl or psychotic killer bitch. So there's a little commonality between them, but I was able to generate something that I think allowed me, if it not at first glance, at 1.5, glance 1.5 or 2, you can see that there is more to what I have to offer. And so my reel reflects that. So whenever my team's pitching me, there's a respect for my body of work because it's so diverse. I am so grateful that I had the wherewithal, because I was sent legal letters like they were going to sue me for breach of contract. My attorney team got involved. They were like, this is serious. Warner Brothers, they're going to come after you. They've already sent letters and they're threatening to do so. And I was like, I wish them good luck. Like a psycho.
Amazing. No, you definitely differentiated yourself. I didn't mean that
No, but to your point, I would have been. I absolutely would have been. And actors do, you get stamped as something. But I think because 90210 was big, but not huge also. Does that make sense? It wasn't like Harry Potter,
Right.
Where Daniel Radcliffe, bless his heart, he's amazing. I'm obsessed with him. I'm obsessed with Harry Potter. I have Harry Potter sweatpants. I have Harry Potter blankets. I have Harry Potter socks. But he's Harry Potter when people see him for the rest of his life. I do get recognized for my other aspects of my work. And I actually get recognized for my advocacy work now, which is really, really special to me because that's my own personal journey. So it's I've been able, I think maybe doing as much as I did at the early part of my life and being allowed to, thanks to the universe, I really diversified myself as a brand without knowing that's what I was doing.
Smart. Such a smart move. That's incredible. I definitely want to get into your advocacy. I have to talk about 90210 for a little bit.
Well, there were 5 seasons of it, so there's a lot to talk.
Yes, I know, but there's so much more to you than that. But tell me about your initial reaction when you read for Naomi. You said you didn't want to do it or you weren't going to do it. You mentioned that maybe?
Well, this plays into my, sweet young arrogance and I'm the queen of the world energy. I had that trajectory in my mind of what I wanted and what I saw for myself. And I was like, I'm not playing some Beverly Hills brat. I'm a serious thespian. I didn't realize no matter what you do, you have to bring your whole self to it. But we were in the writer's strike and there was no work. And I was on Nip Tuck. So I actually was working until we ran out of scripts. But my team was like, look, we don't know how long this strike's going to go. You should go out for the things that you're right for until we run out of auditions. And I'm like, I was like, this is just a waste of the casting director's time and my time because I'm not doing this. That was me doing Schitt's Creek.
And very good.
Thank you. I love her hands. You, David.
Oh my God, ew, David.
I'm only slightly obsessed. So I end up obviously going in. And one of the people that I went in for is someone who's very, very close to me. And we talked before the show started. He lost his house in the Los Angeles fire. So I was talking to him yesterday and he was telling me everything. And like, he had albums of pictures from every show he's ever done. I told him I'll take him to lunch this week because he's like, right now I'm just trying to distract myself because every time I think about what I've lost, everything is so meaningful to me. So much love to him. But he was in the room when I went in and he was just like, he said it was from moment one. It was like, I just came in and made the character my own. I made up nicknames for Ethan, who played my boyfriend in the first season. I was like, and like, just like, I just made her, I was having fun because I didn't want to do the show and I wasn't going to take it if I got it. So I just did whatever I wanted, which is a really good lesson in life. Go into any and everything, especially the things you want the most. Like, you do not want this. Like, you are not worried and not bothered because there's something about it that's like, this is the code. The universe doesn't speak English. It speaks frequency. And this is the frequency that it tells the universe. It says, I can have it if I want it. And I don't. So it's already mine. And the universe hears it's already mine. So then suddenly it is. It's this wild, bizarre energy that I've learned to work with the universe. But in the room, halfway through one of my scenes, Debbie, who was the casting director, bless her heart, she was doing her best. She's turning red. And I stopped the audition. I was like, will someone get her some water? She's choking. Like she had inhaled her water. And she was holding her breath so that I wouldn't, it wouldn't mess up the scene. But I'm like, I'm not a terrible human. I will do this thing again. And so it was a comedy of hilarious errors and also magic in the room. What I didn't know at the moment was that it was kismet. Of course, then I was offered the show. And I was like, I said I'm not doing this. Like such a brat. And then they offered me more money, which was really interesting. I did learn I was one of the women in the world and maybe one of the very few, but who's paid more than her male counterparts pretty much on every project, almost every project I've ever worked on. As I learned accidentally, yet another accidental education, saying no is powerful. And men do it without being a bitch or, they're not labeled anything. They just know their worth and and I knew my worth in my vocation. I knew it wasn't financial at that time that I was thinking, but I knew that I am worth a sense of meaning. And I wasn't deriving meaning from my life in Los Angeles at that time. I was having what I call a young life crisis. And so I was freaking out. But then my first acting partner in New York, I told her, I'm moving back to New York. I'm going to work at Starbucks and find a new passion. I'm over this town. And she was like, no, you're not. You have a platform. You're going to be able to help the world if you use this platform. You were going to do 90210, young lady.
She was right.
She was right. To this day, she's my wifey. We call each other wifey. I'm like, I tell her husband, I'm like, she was my wife before she was yours. We're like best friends. And she took me to Cambodia. She helped me find a sense of meaning and purpose for taking on the next journey of my work as an actress, which was really when I popped. And that was it. The third time, they came back the third time with more money. And I was like, there's something to this saying no thing. But on the contingency that I was going to be able to do press and talk about the issue of human trafficking, which had been something she had educated me on when I was 17 in New York. And that was the organization that I would go on to get involved with fighting human trafficking. I said yes to the show and it was wild. It was wild from day one. It was like, we're at the upfronts in New York and everyone is like hooking up and like,
really?
I'm not supposed to say any of this. Here I go. Like everybody was hooking up with everybody. I was so confused. I had friends in New York though. So I wanted to see everybody because I used to live in New York and I didn't hang out. And apparently I was the bitch.
Because you were off doing something else. You weren't.
Because I wasn't, and I didn't know because I was homeschooled. I didn't go to high school. So my first high school experience was being in West Bev as Naomi Clark. I was popular. I was rich. I was prom queen. I got all the things.
So did you feel pressure stepping into this role? Like, obviously, with the history of 90210, was there added pressure? It doesn't seem like it's something that would phase you, honestly, getting to talk to you.
You have definitely figured me out. Partly due to the fact that being homeschooled, I was allowed to watch Little House on the Prairie, and that was about it. I did not see the original 90210. And when I realized that it was going to be an entirely new generation, entirely its own, and it was just kind of using the brand, I opted not to watch anything so that I didn't, for whatever reason, get put into. I obviously was put into the Kelly category, but yeah, you feel me. I got to create from my own space. I'm very instinctual with my process. So I just kind of show up and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, I do. I'm great. I'm so good at this. Like these are like the pendulum swing moments of my inner dialogue that happens when I'm on set. And, I didn't know why I could so easily morph into Naomi until a few years in. And my little sister was like, I want royalties. You are ripping me off playing Naomi. And I was like, oh, I'm pretending to be you.
So you were getting sister inspiration?
I was literally getting sister inspiration. It was so wild. Like at the same time that Naomi was a party planner, Rachel was a party planner in Vegas. Like there were crazy crossover moments that weren't planned, of course. But Rachel's bigger than life. And whenever we're out together and people are like, oh my God, you're Naomi Clark from 90210. Rachel's like, actually, like, I said, I have to give credit where credit is due. She's the OG Naomi because she's fabulous. She's like the big tutus and the big hats. And I'm a Cancerian, like I want everyone to feel at home. I'm little Miss Cook and clean and make the dinner party amazing. And everybody has exactly what is their dietary restriction all covered. Rachel's like, you will eat what I provide because it's pretty.
Yep. I completely understand that.
Yeah. So it's Rachel. Rachel was my inspiration without knowing it. And I think that she was a little more mean girly in the beginning and she evolved with this kind of like, forgive her because she knows not what she does energy. It was like, she's just blunt and straightforward and not politically correct. And I think that there's some charm, and I learned a lot from my time as Naomi.
She had some incredible character growth throughout the series. Do you have like a favorite storyline or moment that resonated with you as Naomi?
I mean, I loved Maxomi. I loved working with Max, Josh, who played Max. But Liam was it was fun when Matt Lanter came on and I started working with Liam, or Naomi started working with Liam. She was into the bad boy. It was a fun we had a moment actually that was really hilarious. We were filming until like 7 a.m. It was like through the night shooting in San Pedro down past Long Beach here in LA. And we were in his sexy car and he was taking Naomi to like a drag race or something. And poor Matt, we had filmed through the night and I am one of these people who like the baby's sleepy, the baby goes to sleep.
You're done.
And I'm done. I just like the eyes closed, the sentence stops and I'm asleep. And we had shot through the car window, like over his shoulder. The car rig was shooting onto me while we're driving. And then it was over my shoulder onto him while he's driving and he is talking to me. And I am sitting there leaned against the window with the camera over my shoulder, completely asleep.
That's so funny.
We passed out. So that was a funny little anecdote. But I think as far as storylines go, I had a lot of fun with Sarah Foster.
Oh, she's awesome.
I had a lot of fun playing sister rivalry, drama, all of that fun stuff. And then the wholesome moments when they kind of reconnect and there are some really lovely sisterly moments. And we would laugh because we look so much alike.
I was going to say it was perfect.
It was an uncanny, even like our body type and everything. And I just love her. And I was at her first baby shower, and her family. It was so wild. So seeing Erin's show that's just come out, oh my gosh.
So funny.
Yes, the two of them together, what they did, I wish that went on forever and ever because I'm a simple life girl, by the way. I saw
Same. Don't
Yeah,
worry,
still alive
same.
all the way. But her and Aaron together are hysterical. But Aaron's nobody wanted this, I guess, with Kristen Bell. That is amazing. And I just love all that for them. But working with Sarah was so much fun, and the sisters storyline. And I think playing a character that in feedback from viewers that said confidence is sexy. Confidence is cool. It's okay to have an opinion that isn't popular, and also go all the way after what you love with all your heart, like running into Max's wedding and like
That was
hair disheveled, like, no, don't do it. You love me.
I love you. I always have, and I always will. Madison is a great girl, she really is, but you can't marry her. She's not the love of your life, Max. I am.
I love that. I'm a hopeless romantic, and I love that. I absolutely love so many aspects of Naomi and what she evolved into. So yeah, I there's a lot there, but I think the storylines with Max and with my sister were really fun.
Well, on that note, we had one of our Patreon subscribers ask that we ask you who your favorite, I guess, guest star on the show was. And was it Sarah? I mean, you guys had a lot of cool guest stars.
Yeah, I mean, she was definitely my favorite, I would say. And then I had fun with the Kardashians,
I was going to say, that's like kind of popping up on my For You page a lot right now. And that was awesome.
It was, you know what? Here's why I had so much fun. Because the talk about the Kardashians and who they really were when we met them couldn't have been more polar opposite.
Oh, okay.
They were made out to be these divas, this, that, la, la, la. They showed up early. They were hair and makeup ready. They were willing to do whatever they were asked. And Khloe was hysterically funny, which she is. But like Kim was like precious, the sweetest, kindest, most darling thing. I think that I got swept up in the talk and the chatter. And when I met them, I was immediately like, this is why I don't listen to noise, because these women are professionals. They are playing characters. They're the caricatures that are Khloe and Kim. And then there's who I met. And I think they're different people. Courtney wasn't with us that day, but they seem like they are real human beings. And my experience of them was that. And look, they became a cultural phenomenon. Like, it speaks to their willingness to do what they believe they should do, to go after what they wanted. And for that purpose alone, I think there a lot of things can be true at one time. And so people have, a lot to say about public figures, especially when they have as much notoriety as the Kardashians do. My experience, going on personal experience, and that's all I like to go on. They were lovely.
And you filmed in Dash, it looked like. And like, you called Kim a bitch and then was it a hoe or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Dying rewatching that. Like, just.
Chloe's like, what did you call my sister?
Oh, sorry. Just.
Sorry, I meant hoe.
Oh my God.
Okay, you have to help me choose. I want an outfit that's gonna make me feel confident. I've been laying low recently. I just need something that says I'm back.
Well, nothing says you're back like backless. Plus, it'll make your ass look like a ripe little melon.
All right, backless it is. Thank you, girl.
So that one's gonna be $400.
Oh, yeah, actually, I'm a little short on cash right now. I was thinking I could get it on layaway.
Naomi, we're running a business here.
Come on, what are friends for?
Friends wouldn't ask friends to give them dresses for free.
Okay, bitch.
What did you say?
I called her a bitch. I'm sorry. I meant hoe.
Kim, that's it. We're out of here. You better stay out of our store.
Oh, gladly, actually. When I get my trust fund, you'll be sorry. Oh, and one more thing, Kim. Just so you know, whenever you're on Who Wore It Best, I vote for the other girl.
I'm not just saying this because you were on, but you were my favorite mean girl of the era. I was scared shitless of you, but I wanted to be you, and I wanted to be in your circle. So I feel like you crushed it.
I love that. Thank you. I'll take it.
Please. So would you say 90210 is when you popped?
Yeah, Nip Tuck is when I popped in the industry. It was very industry watched. So I got a lot of buzz in my actual day-to-day life as far as the work that I would do going out in meetings and stuff. And in Los Angeles, I would be stopped in Trader Joe's all the time for like, girl, you are so nasty. West Hollywood, Boys Town, like the gays just love me.
Of course they do.
Which I love my gays. But with 9 that was when I popped. And that was the beginning of streaming. So streaming happened at that time. Everyone was like, no one's ever going to watch shows on a streaming network. And then Netflix was like, bye.
Surprise. Here we are.
Surprise. And so then they picked up 9 for 10 years. And I kept getting new generations of young, high school, college age teenagers and young people who would go on to watch it. And it was really beautiful because at that time I was doing like college talks and educating on issues concerning sexual assault at college campuses and stuff. So my relevancy as far as with that age group continued to maintain itself and in a way that really supported the work that was feeding my soul, which was obviously the work to fight human trafficking and sexualized violence against women and children. And now I've found that my work was leaving out a major part of the population, which is the sexualized violence towards men that they never admit to. And it often happens, when they're children or young men. And I have so many influential, powerful men that I've worked with that are like, you're the only person who will ever know, or me and their therapist, or like me and one other person, it's like, and I think that being able to take something so fun and crazy and wild as 90210 and be able to have the reach that I've had and it have the impact for such serious issues. I'm grateful that my vocation lends itself to that.
I mean, it's been incredible to watch as a fan, all the things you've been able to do and accomplish, truly. Can you recall a moment, a pinch me moment, like a holy shit, I made it moment?
It's so funny. I would actually have them driving on the 10 freeway. I don't know when it's safe. I don't know when I'll be able to drive through Malibu and the Palisades, just because so much of our LA culture that you see in movies and TV shows is gone. Like Dukes and Moondance, Moon Shadows, all of it, like things that are just iconic and the things that we filmed on 90210. We changed the geography of Los Angeles.
Of course.
Created the Beverly Hills Beach Club. Beverly Hills is in the middle of Los Angeles. It is not on the ocean, but who would know? So we would drive up and down that beautiful stretch of Malibu, PCH, and film, Naomi, the girls driving to the Beverly Hills Beach Club on 90210. And those iconic streets are, gone and people have lost so much. So there's a sadness for me in this moment aspect of it right now. But I'm so grateful that I got to be a part of it, that I'm a part of what was there for such a long time and is so iconic for people who appreciate what Los Angeles has represented in the movies and in TV. But my pinch me moments were kind of private, if I'm honest, because they were like just driving down the 10, looking north and seeing the Hollywood sign through the palm trees of Los Angeles in my convertible Mini Cooper on my way to work, and knowing that like this thing that this 9-year-old little kid in a trailer park dreamed of was happening. I was on a show that people not only like made me pop and blasted me out there to the world and gave me my big break, but teenagers and young people and even to this day, women that I meet and who are my age who came up with me watching the show continue to tell me, you played such a impactful role in my adolescence and my early life because you were dealing with themes that I was facing. My character was sexually assaulted. My character went through a lot of things. She had a friend who came out as gay when that wasn't something that was like, it was still, scary for teenagers to admit, hey, I like the same sex. I'm so grateful that language is normalized and everybody is much more open to it now. But even just a short period of time ago, at the beginning of my career, that was something that people were coming to me and saying, we love how you supported Teddy when he came out as gay, when you were Naomi on 90. That made me feel like I could come out to my friends.
Wow.
And like those moments are to be a part of someone's journey at a moment like a monumental milestone moment like that because I was on a show about Beverly Hills high school kids, you know, for all of my life, I'll feel grateful that after 4 times I said yes to Naomi.
4th time's the charm.
4 times the charm.
You said people were hooking up, and we don't have to get into that, but I mean, you guys were all young. What was the dynamic like? Did everyone get along? What was it like?
Well, I'll say this and you'll recognize because we are Cancerian women. There was moi, and then there were 4 Scorpio women.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Shenae and I go on to do a podcast for like a year together, which she had babies and became a mama, and I just got spread too thin. So we didn't continue after the first year, but we got 52 episodes. You guys, we have so much appreciation for obviously for what you and Kelsey do. Like no one realizes how hard it is. There are a lot of podcasts that people think that they're so easy. They are not easy. And we had a full team. Like we had Dear Media behind us. We had a full situation going. It's a lot of work. So major props to you and Kelsey for the magic that you're creating for all of us to listen to. But Shenae and I had some fun during COVID and did a season, you know, of Unzipped, we called it. And we talk in the first episode about how we hated each other for 5 years. We did. We were like, this little bitch. And of course, we end up becoming friends on the last day after 5 years.
The last day?
The last day she calls me. I'm driving my drive home on the 10. I'm driving home on the 10 and I look at my phone. I'm like, Shenae Grimes. Wow, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Like, what do I do? You know? And then I'm like, wait, I was so curious. I was like, what the hell? And I like click. I'm like, hello? And she's like, I can't believe it's over. I was like, bitch, you didn't want to be here. Like, what are you talking about? You were miserable. And we totally hashed it out. She's like, it's like family. And I was like, family that you hate. And but it was, you know, she was realizing that all of the things she was going through. She started the show at 18. She moved across the continent from another country, you know, and moved to Los Angeles. And it was a lot. And I think she should be proud of herself. I think she handled it much better than a lot of people might have, but she didn't handle it as well as she would have liked to. And because of rumors and bullshit, she and I were at odds with each other for 5 years. And we worked well together, which was the irony. We weren't each other's fans as humans. But when we would come to set, we had a shared goal, and that was that we wanted to go home.
Love that.
We were like, we are going to shoot so fast. And we were just on it. We would do our stuff. We worked well together. We had good chemistry as far as like Naomi and Annie's characters were concerned. And there was something magical that happened outside of what, you know, was working against us that we weren't aware was really not even true to begin with. So that was actually kind of wild. But yeah, there was a moment when there was like, you know, some shared boys and lines drawn in the sand. Whose side are you on? And like, you know, so I was like, this is an A and B conversation. I am going to see my way out of it. I am not interested in this. Thank you very much. Goodbye. But I think that I really am a professional and outside of how much I'm a child I can be. But when it comes to like work ethic, I'm a professional. And I just didn't understand like the politics. I never understand the politics. I never understand like the high school of it all. And so I didn't know that this is a thing. Like I thought you go to work, that's your job, and you go home, you know? And I worked on Nip Tuck for a year before 90210 with people who were in their 40s, who are moms and dads. They go home to their kids and their family after work. So it's very, very professional. And so I kind of came into 90210 and didn't realize it was like a social hour, a social hour that I didn't know existed and didn't show up to, and therefore was snubbing everybody, you know? So there was a little bit of energy of that. But I think people realized after a while that I was just weird. I'm here for the weirdos out there. I am a weirdo, y'all. Like I'm a rabbit hole weirdo. At the time, of course, it was just my norm again, but like I now fully own my weirdo-ness. But I think that the experience of me from my co-stars, I became a little endearing once they realized I was just fucking
It's just
weird.
you.
Yeah.
I'd be normal, honestly. What's the fun in that?
No, I am a black sheep all the way. I do not fit in.
All right. This is Kelsey coming to you hot from the recording booth.
we are going to hit you with a part 2 because there's just too much juicy goodness and amazing storytelling to cram this all into one episode. So we're going to leave part 1 here, and you can expect part 2 of our conversation with AnnaLynne very soon. And you definitely want to tune into it, because when I say she's an incredible storyteller and she's doing incredible things for her community and the global community, my words will never be able to do it justice. You need to hear it for yourself. So make sure to tune into part 2. In the meantime, you can catch us at When They Popped Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Leave a review. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss when part 2 drops. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.